Coming up on 5 Minute News. Archbishop Desmond Tutu dead at 90. France records over 100,000 infections in one day for the first time. And Switzerland to allow simplified gender transition from January 1st. It's Monday, December 27. I'm Anthony Davis. Desmond Tutu, South Africa's Nobel Peace Prize-winning icon, an uncompromising foe of apartheid, and a modern-day activist for racial justice and LGBT rights, died on Sunday at the age of 90. South Africans, world leaders, and people around the globe mourned the death of the man viewed as the country's moral conscience. Tutu worked passionately, tirelessly, and non-violently to tear down apartheid, South Africa's brutal, decades-long regime of oppression against its black majority that only ended in 1994. The buoyant, blunt-spoken clergyman used his pulpit as the first black bishop of Johannesburg and later as the Anglican Archbishop of Cape Town, as well as frequent public demonstrations, to galvanize public opinion against racial inequity, both at home and globally. Nicknamed the Arch, the diminutive Tutu became a towering figure in his nation's history, comparable to fellow Nobel laureate Nelson Mandela, a prisoner during white rule, who became South Africa's first black president. Tutu and Mandela shared a commitment to building a better, more equal South Africa. Upon becoming president in 1994, Mandela appointed Tutu to be chairman of the country's Truth and Reconciliation Commission, which uncovered the abuses of apartheid. France has recorded more than 100,000 virus infections in a single day for the first time in the pandemic, and COVID-19 hospitalizations have doubled over the past month as the fast-spreading Omicron variant complicates the French government's efforts to stave off a new lockdown. More than 1 in 100 people in the Paris region have tested positive in the past week, according to the regional health service. Most new infections are linked to the Omicron variant, which government experts predict will be dominant in France in the coming days. Omicron is already dominant in Britain, right across the English Channel. Meanwhile, a surge in Delta variant infections in recent months is pushing up hospital admissions in France and put ICUs under strain over the Christmas holidays. More than 1,000 people in France with the virus died over the past week, bringing the country's overall death toll to more than 122,000. President Emmanuel Macron's government is holding emergency meetings today to discuss the next steps in tackling the virus. Some scientists and educators have urged delaying the post-holiday return to school or suggested reimposing a curfew. The government is pushing a draft law that would require vaccination to enter all restaurants and many public venues, instead of the current health pass system, which allows people to produce a negative test or proof of recovery if they're not vaccinated. Meanwhile, the U.S. Chief Medical Advisor Anthony Fauci on Sunday warned Americans not to get complacent amid reports that the Omicron variant is less harmful than others. Anecdotal evidence suggests that Omicron is only milder in vaccinated patients. The latest COVID-19 variant has upended holiday plans for tens of thousands of travelers. Airlines cancelled hundreds more flights yesterday, citing staffing problems tied to COVID-19, as the nation's travel woes extended through Christmas with no clear indication when normal schedules would resume. But shoppers in the US shrugged off the Omicron variant, and holiday sales rose at the fastest pace in 17 years. People in Switzerland will be able to legally change gender by a visit to the Civil Registry Office from January 1st, putting the country at the forefront of Europe's gender self-identification movement. Switzerland joins Ireland, Belgium, Portugal and Norway as one of the few countries on the continent that allow a person to legally change gender without hormone therapy, medical diagnosis or further evaluation or bureaucratic steps. Under the new rules written into Switzerland's civil code, anyone aged 16 and above who is not under legal guardianship will be able to adjust their gender and legal name by self-declaration at the Civil Registry Office. This marks a change from the current set of regionally prescribed standards in Switzerland, which often require a certificate from a medical professional confirming an individual's transgender identity. Switzerland, long known as socially conservative in the main, voted in September to legalise civil marriage and the right to adopt children for same-sex couples, one of the last countries in Western Europe to do so. With the new gender change rules, Switzerland joins just 24 countries worldwide, aiming to decouple gender choice from medical procedures. While some other European nations, including Denmark, Greece and France, have removed the requirement of medical procedures, including sex reassignment surgery, sterilisation or psychiatric evaluation, their rules require further steps or conditions. You can subscribe to 5-Minute News on YouTube with your preferred podcast app. Ask your smart speaker or enable 5-Minute News as your Amazon Alexa flash briefing skill. Subscribe, rate and review online at 5minute.news. 5-Minute News is an Evergreen podcast covering politics, inequality, health and climate, delivering independent, unbiased and essential world news daily.